Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me today. I'm very glad to be here to talk about the future of play and how Moment Factory sees it. Quickly, I want to introduce myself and the company. This is my Memoji. My name is Francois Larouche. I know it's hard to pronounce. It's a French name because in Canada we have a French part of Canada. So I'm French Canadian, and people never know how to pronounce my name. So everybody call me JF. Jeff. So if you meet me, don't hesitate to use Jeff. It's easier. Yes, I lead the interactive department at Moment Factory, and I'm also creative director on interactive project. A little bit about me. I love sci-fi. I'm a big Star Wars fan since I'm very young. I love travel. I'm very glad to be here for the first time in your country. Thanks for having me again. And I really like to work at Moment Factory because I can use those three passions that I have. The first one being design. I'm a graphic designer, and I really like interactive design and UX. I love technology and sci-fi. And I really love humans, and I think that at Moment Factory, this is where I can meet those three passions. So what about Moment Factory? What is Moment Factory? It's a unique multimedia and entertainment studio. It's very hard to explain with words, so I think you should look at this little reel. We'll give you Thanks. So as you can see, we work with a lot of different industries, and we like to classify our project in two big categories. The first one being shows, so everything that is temporary, like ceremonies, shows, experiential marketing, stunts, concerts. And we also do more and more destinations. So we take, let's say, a forest, and we create a magic forest, and for like Lumina, that is one of our product that we have at Moment, arena, public spaces, and stuff like that. Moment Factory now has more than 400 employees. 5 years ago, when I joined the company, we were less than 100. So it grew very fast. The home base is in Montreal, Canada, but we also have an office in Paris, Tokyo, New York, Los Angeles, and London. Now I have to read them, it's crazy. Interactivity. So as I mentioned, I lead the interactive team at Moment Factory, so I want to tell you a bit more about our vision. So as it was mentioned, technology today helps us connect in different ways. We can connect, with Facebook, with WhatsApp and stuff like that, but when you're in the public space, when you're with friends and your family, it can separate us. So we like to think that we break the interface to transform the technology, use the technology to try to transform it, to hijack it. and to bring people together in the physical world. This is very interesting because I'll talk later about VR and AR, and you'll see. So, oh yes,
Moment
this
Factory is ready. Ready to connect you with the environment, with each other, in new ways. Touch. Please prepare for your next activation.
Sound.
Body.
This sound. Sound. This sound.
Portables. Data visualization.
Yes, so this was the interactive reel, so focus on what we can offer and provide as the interactive team. Today at Moment Factory, we do a lot of client projects, but we spend a lot of time working on research and development. So 25% of our time is dedicated to testing new technology to make sure that we are always well understand what's coming. You know that our motto, the company motto is we do it in public. So as I said, we like to bring people, family together. But in the interactive team, we like to say we play in public. So we really focus on play and making people have fun through the game, through gaming. Two focus that we have right now is live action world. I don't know if you guys saw what Disney just did with Star Wars. They tried to create immersive, I talk about Star Wars, to bring like immersiveness and make people be part of the world and very immersive. So we're really into that, trying to reinvent a little bit the theater, reinvent destinations, and also augmented sports. People, I think it's very interesting, and we think it's interesting to add layers of magic on the top of augmented sports. So as the main topic today is play, I wanted to go through a couple of prototypes and projects that we did, just to give you an example of what we did and where we are at right now. So play creates social connectivity, as I just mentioned, taking games out in the real world. So this is a prototype where in teams of two, you have one person that has to run to control the vessel and the other one that can shoot the enemy. So this was very fun. It was a prototype. It's not out yet, but we're trying to find new ways of using the phone, not being like this, but using the phone to interact as a remote to control the environment. This is, we tried to reinvent a little bit, not reinvent, because we didn't reinvent anything, but we tried to enhance the yoga and the meditation process. Oh, my video is too short, but I'll just make it again. So how to make it a little bit more fun to stay concentrated in front of the screen. Everybody knows Tetris, so we thought it would be fun to reinvent Tetris, and this is the first version, but we are further than that now. The camera moves everywhere, but you have to move your body to make sure that you don't get hit by a wall. So this is another prototype we did lately. This is a project we did 1 year ago. A lot of snow, because Montreal and Canada has a couple of months with snow, but this was a night walk in a castle where at the end kids had to throw balls on, I'll make it again, play one again. Throw balls on a big wall to make the finally appear. So it was very fun, and at first we wanted to use a real snowball, but it was too rainy that week, so we had to use plastic balls. This is another prototype we did. We wanted to also use the phone into a different way, having the phone on your wrist, and it was kind of a catch the game where people had to run into the forest to make sure that they catch the color of attached to the trees. It was very fun. It was for a Halloween party. Also, we worked with in Japan for the Olympic that are coming soon, on a couple of stunts with Panasonic, where we were able to use new technology to track high speed, to use high speed tracking and projection mapping to make sure that we could like reinvent a little bit the way we play soccer and baseball and ping pong. For those of you that have seen this, this is the first version of Grid, the team pong game that you can experience in the Great Hall right now. I invite you to do so. So this was the first version. This is Karmic Radiation, another game that was developed for a workshop. Very fun also. It's also available in the Great Hall. This is very interesting because for a couple of years now we were trying to do something in the pre-show of our projection mapping. This is not in Paris, in France, sorry. And it's we have a big show on the cathedral there, but we wanted people to engage before, instead of being on Facebook on their phone, we wanted them to be already part of the story and part of the event. So we created that website. It's a simple website. Actually, the process of doing this was a little bit chaotic because making sure that you have all the steps for people to be able to interact and understand what you have to do before the show. But it was very interesting because at least you had it was kind of a quiz. So you answered a question and your question would appear on the cathedral and then it would be very interactive. Also, we have a new skate park next Moments Factory's office in Montreal, and we thought it would be good to do a workshop with the kids that play there. So we decided to put projector on the floor and do tracking, so the skater would... you saw it. So people would be able to be tracked. This is at the same event where we also tried a couple of games where you had water and you have rock coming out and people had to run to find a rock. And this one is in it's U Arena. It's a big arena in Paris, and we also tried a couple of installations to make it very impressive and large. So with your phone, you were able to throw not snowball, but fireball on the ground, and we did a couple of experimentation also to connect the crowd. So what's next? This is very interesting because I show you all this, but we're working on new prototypes and new stuff. First of all, new technology will help create new kind of games in the physical world. First of all, what is very exciting is the AI tracking. Soon, with simple web camera, RGB camera, you'll be able to track, but also know where are the head and the shoulder and the arms of everyone in a room. So this is very exciting because we'll be able to create a magic trick. Let's say you can raise your hand, it creates a magic ball and stuff like that. So this is something that we're very exploring right now. I'll show you, this is a couple of examples of tracking that we did lately. I thought about the new projector that are high speed and also the new way we can track at high speed also. So it creates, for a ping pong game to be able to track the ball at that speed I think it's very promising for the future and for play, because play is very quick. So it will be interesting to play with those technology, and the projector are getting more sharp. Also, the contrast are better, so the immersiveness will increase, of course. We are also passionate about connected objects and tangible interfaces. So we are creating our own motherboard at Moment Factory. We created that magic trail in the forest. We created those big sticks that light up depending on what you do. This magic stick also interact with the environment. This was a prototype. And we're also creating, like, as I mentioned, a small motherboard that will be able to be incorporated, let's say, in a hat, and we'll be able to create magic tricks and interaction with this in the future. So very promising. Also, as I mentioned, AR and VR at the beginning of the presentation, you know, AR and VR will be the fourth major shift in technology. We had the computers, internet that changed everything. Mobile, now we all have a mobile in our pocket, but what's coming next will be those glasses that will maybe help us be less on our phone, but be more connected with each other. So for us, it's really related to our mission, and we really like it. And it's not that we don't like VR. You know, VR and AR are related, but are kind of two separated things. VR, you're more isolated. So we really want to focus on AR because, as I mentioned, you can see your friend, you can see your family, you can share a moment, and it's very unique in that way. Also, crowd participation is something that we are trying to explore, because it's good to have people playing a game in the middle of a public space, but how do you make sure people around can participate also? So this is the next generation of the games, the Pong game that you saw in the Great Hall that I just presented, where as being a viewer around with AR, now it's with your phone, but soon it will be with glasses, you are able to make choices that influence the game that is on the floor, as you can see here. So people have chosen the dinosaur, so the dinosaur will influence the game while people are playing with it. So now, as we all have phones in our pocket, we're trying to find new ways of making the crowd interact, as I mentioned, with the participants. And of course, I just want to end by telling you to go and try on the Great Hall the 4 games that are here that we all package and put together to make sure that it shows well what the play is in public spaces. Here you go, the big version of in the Great Hall. So don't hesitate to contact me online. I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and momentfactory.com if you want more information about Moment Factory. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Great.
Hello.
So I should admit that this speech brought so much joy to the room and
Good.
the hall.
I didn't see anything actually. I was blind.
I can tell you
Okay,
that.
good.
Yes. So that was really great, and it's opened our eyes to what is next upcoming in the game world, and with the technology, of course. So I have a lot of questions, but I leave the opportunity for the attendee if they have any questions to address for our speaker.
One here.
Where? Yes.
Okay. I'm asking about the previous video. You showed us that you use projector. What about using hologram technology?
Hologram?
Yeah.
Actually, we would love to use hologram. The thing is, hologram right now are either a technology that, you know, what they did with Michael Jackson, and you know, it's kind of a. It's hard to explain like that, but it's projection on a kind of a transparent. It's not that. You know, if you're at the right angle, it works. But as soon as you move around, you see the trick. So for our project, when we want people to move around, it doesn't work. And now they are working on new hologram with that project on smoke and stuff like that. Hope it will work soon, because we could create amazing stuff with that. That's a good question.
Another question, if there is any in the audience.
You have no question. All right.
Okay, so let me ask you a question,
Yes.
Jeff. What are the fields that you see it's very promising now to embed this kind of technology and work you are doing now?
The fields, I would say, as we talked about play, I would say all those public spaces, you know, those new development in cities where they have to rethink the way cities, public spaces are built. I think it's those technologies that are affordable now could be very embedded in new public space area and stuff like that.
Okay.
And also we work with medical child hospitals because you know when you're sick and you're a child and you're in the waiting room, we try to work with them to reshape a little bit the playroom.
So it changed the whole experience of a
being
child.
sick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
being
you
sick
forget
to-
that you're sick for a while. And
That
it's,
changed the energy of the kid
yeah,
itself.
totally. They
to
forget
yes.
that. Yeah.
Yes. And what other projects or secrets maybe you want to share with us that you're working on?
On our website, you'll see that we have those Lumina project. It's a night walk in the forest. We're opening new night walk around the world in Japan, in Canada, and in Europe. But also we're working on Aura, which is one of our, I don't know if you remember the projection on the cathedral in the church.
Yes.
We're doing more of those kind of projection and of that kind of monument in Europe, so it's coming soon.
What's really also stands out for me, the instant interaction that people could jump into a game and be part of it out of and people unexpectedly have this kind of involvement from other people.
The action reaction is very important.
Yes, in the game.
Yeah.
Do you have another, for example, I saw in the website, I navigated your website and I told you before the speech about the Singapore also airport projects.
Yep.
So you do other also kind of focus in your in the Moment Factory. Can you tell us also more about that?
Yeah. Actually, what I discussed about was more about interactivity, but we do a lot of prediction mapping, and like at the airport, we do a lot of high-end visuals that can be displayed on big screens or in airport, for instance. We did something very interesting at Los Angeles Airport a couple of years ago. So you can check this out. It's called the LAX project. It's very interesting also what we... so you can see. But yeah, we do, we touch a little bit different...
Yes. You have your own magic touch in whatever you get into.
That's what we like to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have here a question. Okay, I'll translate for you. Yes.
أيوة. فقط أحببت أن أذكر أني لعبت أنا وبنتي بالألعاب الموجودة هناك وكنا مستمتعين جدا جدا جدا، وأدعو وأتوقع أن الكل اللي حضر هنا اليوم أكيد أنه حضر في الألعاب ولعبها، كانت جدا رائعة. الجميل في هذه الألعاب أنها ألغت موضوع التصنيف العمري، فالكبير والصغير كلهم كانوا يلعبوا، ما كانوا يحسوا بنوع هكذا أنظر يعني أنا للموضوع. فيعني بهرت الحقيقة وجدا شكرا. ممتاز انكم احضرتوا الرجل الذي وراء هذه اللعبه اللي كنت جدا مبهوره، وكنت اتمنى انها تكون موجوده في المدارس او في الجامعات او في الاماكن العامه اللي احنا او في دواماتنا يعني. فشكرا لمستر جان، شكرا لكم.
شكرا لك.
I wish I could understand that. Damn.
So she was talking, she had the experience in the Great Hall with the game you have it, and she was so happy about the experience, and she said that she didn't feel the age differences with everyone. She feels so welcome, and she wanted to thank you especially and know the man behind that and all that.
But it's a big team. It's a big thing behind that. It's not only me. It's
sure, it is the Moment Factory team that you are part of it, and I also want to thank you for the great speech, and please help me also thank him again for the great job.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.